In today's tutorial, I'm gonna show you how to draw this Moody night mountain landscape in Procreate in just a few easy steps. Please make sure to download all tutorial files before we begin. And now, if you are ready, let's grab our pencils and get started. I've created a canvas with the dimensions of 2000 by 2500 pixels. In the tutorial files you will find this color palette and a few brushes that will help us achieve this moody atmosphere of the night mountain landscape. All files are free to download in the video description. This is gonna be an easy tutorial, and you can follow along even if you are a beginner to Procreate or digital art generally. But if you prefer more advanced and detailed drawing tutorials, please visit my Patreon page, where I share tutorial videos and exclusive brush sets regularly. It is also linked below this video. Now, without further ado, let's begin drawing. First of all, let me change the background color. We just need to tap here and then select color number 1 from the palette. It'll change. Now we can create the base shape for the landscape. For that, let me select color number 3 from the palette and draw a circle. To make it perfect, we better use monoline from calligraphy. The tips of the brush are not tapered and they will match. The size doesn't matter here. I will just start drawing a circular shape. Then wait a second, and if we tap on the canvas with one finger, it'll get perfect. After that we can also scale it. Let's make it not very big, like this. Now we can click on the arrow, and I will drag it slightly upper. This way. Now we can fill the circle and duplicate the layer. Click on the arrow again, then go to Snapping and activate Magnetics. Now if you start dragging it down, it'll go strictly vertical. So let me put it here, then merge these two layers, go back to transformation. This time I will remove Magnetics and activate Snapping instead, so we can center the shape. You will see this intersection of yellow lines, which means it is centered now. We only need to connect them on the sides, and it can be done in many different ways. For example, we can do it using selection, or just go to Actions, Canvas, go to Drawing Guide, Edit it, and select Symmetry. Now we can just draw one line to connect the sides, and the other one will be reflected. I will just set the size to 3%. Start drawing a vertical line. Also tap on the canvas and adjust it. If we click Edit Line, you can also move it. Like this. Now we only need to fill this gap. The shape looks perfect. Let me remove the drawing guide, and we can start drawing the landscape itself. There are many different ways to keep a drawing within some shape. Most of the time it is using a clipping mask, but today I want to use some others that will work better here. So we need to create one more layer on top of this one. Then pick color number 4 from the palette. And also I will change the brush into technical pen from inking. Now let's go back to the first layer. Tap on it. And from this menu pick Select. Remove Color Fill option from the menu. And make sure the selection worked properly. If it didn't, you need to go to Automatic and adjust selection threshold. Now we can go ahead and save it, so we can also use it later. For that we need to click Save and Load with the heart icon and then click plus. Now selection is saved. Let's make sure it is active, then go to the new layer that we created and draw a curve on the lower side of the shape. Now let's try to fill it. If it fills a bigger area, you just need to slide your pencil to the left to adjust color drop threshold. Now we will get this. Actually, we can keep it active. Add one more layer between these two. And outline a mountain shape. As the base color for it, we can use color number 12. Let's also do it this way. It will go up like this, then down, and we need to connect it to the edge of the shape to be able to fill it. Let's now drag the color, and we will get this. I think we can also add another mountain on the background. For that, I will also create a layer here, right above the base shape. Then open the color palette and pick color number 9. Here I want to use a brush from the set. So let me open it. It is called Moody Landscape. And I will select the brush called Abstract Trees. It has subtle color dynamics. Let me adjust the size. It can be set to around 40%. And I will start drawing like this, making some curves. Let's now paint the entire area here. Remove all the gaps like this. And we can keep it for now. I will go back to the layer number 2, that is on the front. Add another one on top of it, so we can add some trees on the foreground. For these trees, I will select color number 22. Open the brush set again and pick a brush called Pine Tree. Please don't confuse it with Pine Tree Branch. We will use it for some other purpose. Right now I will select this one and start drawing the trees. Let me try the brush size. Alright, I think it is at around 2%. I will start from the edge of the canvas, go a little upper than this mountain, and start drawing the pine tree branches. Make some of them bigger. And continue going down this way. It will get wider at the lower side. We can also add some smaller branches if you like. I will just continue painting until this tree is ready. Let's put it here on the ground. I will add a bigger branch, so it looks more natural. And if we make the size a bit smaller, we can also add some tiny details, like this. We can also add an angle, like this one. Then I will set it to 2% back and add another tree. Just go down to the sides. If you like, you can use some reference images. I will make the size a bit bigger to add bigger branches. This brush works just great. So let me also connect it to the ground. Then we can put a smaller one here at some distance. For that I will lower the size a little bit. Let me start a little closer. And I will make it smaller. Just like this. Draw these lines going to the side. We also need to match it with the ground. I will add some smaller branches here. And when this one is ready, we can draw a few more on the left side. Of course, you can do it in your own way. I will just start from here. Add the trunk first. It will just go down as a line. And after that I will start adding smaller branches of different lengths. So this tree will look slightly different. Let me add some bigger ones close to the edge. Then it will go all the way down to the ground. And it is also done. I think I will add a couple more. Let me put a small one here. It will just get wider at the lower edge. And the last one, very close to it. I think it is a very easy way to draw pine trees. With this brush. Okay. Now that we have the trees, we can add some gradient on the background. The selection is still active, so we can still go here to the base layer, add another one on top of it, and pick color number 5. Now let's go to spray paints. It is a standard Procreate set. And here I will select medium nozzle brush. Set the size to around 40%. And make vertical strokes like this. Behind the mountains. It will have these tiny splashes. Let me make it more opaque on the sides. And then switch to color number 6. Paint more at the lower edge. Now the splashes will be more visible. If you think they are too big, you can try to use fine nozzle or ultra fine nozzle, according to the result you want to get. Alright, before we add the clouds, the stars and the crescent, I think we better work on the foreground first. So I'll go ahead and remove the selection for now. Anyway, we have it saved, so we can go back to it later. I will go to the layer number 2. So we can add some texture on it. And there are 2 ways to do that. We can apply alpha lock or clipping mask. To be able to adjust the texture easier, I prefer using clipping mask. For that we just need to click on this plus button and select clipping mask from the menu. Now we need to select the color and it will be number 14. In the tutorial brush set, there is a brush called Hard Gouache Texture. It is for my exclusive gouache brush set. It is available on Patreon and on Gumroad too, so you can find it there. Let's set the size between 6 and 7% and start drawing various curves. We can outline the edge like this. to make it more opaque. And then continue adding the texture. I will just add more curves and lines with different angles to make it look textured. Go to the right side. We can just press more to make it wider. Then even lower the size. And add smaller lines. And build up a shape like this. We can make it even curvy. And to adjust it more, we can use a razor that is set to the same brush. Here the size can be set to around 3%. And I will erase between the lines to make it even more textured. Also reveal some shadows. Just do it until you like the result. Let me put another shadow here. I want to make it bigger. So you can just switch between the brush and eraser. And finish the shape. I will keep it like this. We can now merge these two layers. And go to the layer number 4. It is this green one. Now I will add another layer on top of it. Also clip it. So we can apply a few more colors here. Let's start with number 10. Let's select this brush that we used with abstract trees. It is still at the same brush size, but first we can lower the opacity to make the shading gradual. I will set it to 70% and start making strokes with low pressure. Go down this way. We can keep some areas highlighted. Then I will set it to maximum opacity and make a few more strokes. It will get darker. Just paint here and there to add some color variation. And after that we can make it even darker. Select color number 11. Let me just set opacity to 90%. And make a few strokes as well. It may go slightly upper, like this. And now it is enough. Also in this gap we can add a few more trees. We just need to change the brush into pine tree branch. I mentioned it in the beginning. Then I will merge these two layers and create one more above. We don't have to clip this one, because we will just put it here in this gap. The size can be set to around 3 or 2%. And I will make a few vertical strokes. Apply more pressure at the bottom. Now it is fine. We can only see the silhouette slightly. Actually, we can also merge these two and work on this mountain on the side. It'll have a few layers. So let's create the first one above it and clip. First I want to add a subtle gradient on it, using color 13. Let's also go to spray paints. I will select fine nozzle that has tiny particles. The size can be set to around 32%. And I will start making strokes like this, going a little upper on the right side. The particles will be slightly thin. Now after this layer, we can start adding the textures. For that I will create a new one and also clip it, so we keep the textures inside. First let's go to select a texture brush. It is here in Moody Landscape brush set and it is called Rock. After that we need to select a color. Here I want to use a few and start with number 15. The brush size is set to 10% and I will start from the top of the mountain. Make these random strokes going down and keep some gaps between the textures. Let's also color this peak. We can make it slightly curvy like this. And more opaque on the edge. We can also add a few peaks inside the mountain. For example, here. I will also make it curvy. Now we can connect the textures and continue going down like this. Let me add another peak somewhere here. It will also go slightly down, this way, and more to the right side. Let me paint the edge here. I will also add a curve like this. Now we can also grab a razor, set it to the same brush, and adjust it. Just make the peak more sharp. Like this. Now we can switch to color 16 and add a few highlights. For example, we can put it here. Also go a little bit down. And on this one. Going more down. And somewhere here as well. We can increase the brush size slightly. Apply the color here. And then select number 17. Let me add another highlight here. I will make the size smaller again to make it more textured. Here we can make another curve close to the edge. Highlight it. And on this one as well. Of course, you can do it in your own way, or even use a reference if you like. Now, after we did that, let's select color number 9 and add a layer between these two. Let me apply the color here, then also close to these colors. And if it turns out too bright, we can lower the opacity of the layer to make it less visible. I will set it to 58% and continue drawing between these red and orange colors. It will also go down here with more shapes. And right after that, we can add some dark colors on the left side. It will be number 14. We can just apply the texture here. Then from this point, make sort of triangle. It will be more visible while going down, because we have a lighter color here. I just want to make it slightly textured like this. We can darken this side more. It looks this way. But actually, to make it even more visible, we can go to Adjustments, pick Hue Saturation Brightness, and lower the brightness a little bit. But it will be applied to both colors, so try not to overdo it. Now it looks like this. When the mountain is ready, we can add a few more trees here. So I'm going to merge the layers for the mountain and add another one on top of it. Let's select color 21 and a brush called Pine Tree Branch. The size is set to 3%, and we only need to make a few vertical strokes in this area. Some of them can go upper, like this, and I will also add the smaller ones. Just fill in this gap. We can make a few more strokes here. Then alpha lock the layer to add a gradient inside it. For that we can select color 13. Go to Spray Paints and pick Fine Nozzle Brush. Just lower the brush size and make a subtle stroke at the bottom. Like this. Alright, now this part is also ready. We can finish the background by adding a few clouds, a crescent, and some stars. We have a gradient on layer 6, so we need to add another one on top of it. I will start with the clouds. As the base color, let me pick color number 7. Go back to our brush set to find a single cloud tool brush. Let me make the size bigger, at around 21%, and just tap on the canvas. Now we can also scale it uniformly to make it even bigger. It can go even more down. Let me scale it a bit more to cover this empty space. But we need to leave some space for the crescent as well, on the blue area. Alright, now we can either duplicate the cloud or just tap one more time, but for that I will create a new layer. This time I will lower the size a little bit, tap again, and flip it horizontal to make it look slightly different. I will adjust the size, move it to the left a little. Now we can duplicate this layer, drag it upper, and put it above this layer number 4. This time I will make it smaller, move to the right, and put it here. I think we can add one more cloud somewhere in this place. Let me now duplicate this, move it to the left side. We can also try to flip it, make it even smaller, and put it this way. Alright. Now as you see, the clouds go outside, but we can fix it easily. Let me just merge these two layers, and also these two. Now let's go to Selection, pick Save and Load, and then tap on the selection that we created in the beginning. Now we need to invert it to keep the outer area selected. Now if you tap on the layer and click Clear, it will be removed from the sides. Here we can just erase it. I think it will be faster. So let's go to layer 9, pick Eraser, just set it to medium harder brush, or it can be some other, and remove it like this. Now after we did that, let's add a subtle highlight on the clouds. I will start with this layer. We can try to alpha lock it. Select color number 8 and some soft brush. I think fine nozzle will work too. I will select it from spray paints. Just make the size slightly bigger and apply it on top of the cloud. Like this. We can also do it on this one, right on top. Let's now go to this layer number 9. We can also apply alpha lock on it and highlight the clouds as well, just like this. They will be transparent at the bottom. Now we can add some stars. For that I will also create a layer under these clouds. We can set it to Add mode and try to use color number 7. Going back to Moody Landscape brush set and selecting this texture called Old Paper. It will work great to draw the stars. They will look like tiny speckles. Let's just set the size to around 32% and activate our selection. We just need to tap here and load it. Now we can make a stroke. So I will tap on the brush again to activate it. And paint slightly. We can keep the selection active still. Go to Adjustments and select Gaussian Blur. Let's slide a little bit to the right, to around 1 or 2%. They will get a little bit blurry. Now we can remove the selection. Also grab a razor. I will set it to soft brush this time. And remove it from inside the clouds. Like this. But this is not all yet. After we put a crescent, we will erase another area. Let's keep it for now. To draw a crescent, let's create a new layer somewhere here. And select color number 18. First we need to draw a circle. In the calligraphy set, we can grab monoline. Set it to any size you like. Draw a circle. Wait a second, and then tap to make it perfect. We can also scale it, and then fill. Let me now click on the arrow, and drag it upper. I will also center it vertically. Like this. Let's now lower the opacity of this layer and then duplicate it. Click on the arrow, scale this circle and move it up and to the right to create this intersection for the crescent. We can adjust the size, make it go a little outside until we get this. Now let's tap on the layer and pick Select from the menu. Go back to this one, also tap on it and click Clear this time. Let's now bring back the opacity of the layer and delete the layer with the circle. We will get a perfect crescent shape. Now let's duplicate it one more time. Clip it to the base and recolor it into color number 19. We can just try to drag it on the shape. Then also move it approximately till the half of the crescent and then blur it by using Gaussian Blur. I will set the amount to 4%. Now we only need to add some glow. For that we can duplicate the initial layer once again. Also recolor it, but this time into color 20. We can also drag it on the shape. We won't see it here, but we can see it on the layer. Now we can set it to Add mode and also blur it using Gaussian Blur again. It is here under Adjustments. We can set the amount to 6 or 7% and after that duplicate the layer to make it shine even more. Now we only need to delete the stars from inside the crescent. We have the stars here on layer 10, so we can grab a razor again. It is still set to soft brush. We only need to adjust the size and erase a circle, like this. Now the landscape is totally ready. We can just add a border around it And it is also very easy to do. We can just duplicate this layer where we have the base color. Go to this one, and you can paint it in any color you want. I will select this one, number 2. We can just drag it on the shape. And then scale. I will just click on the arrow and switch to freeform. Drag the sides a little bit. You can set it to any thickness you like. Let me also drag it to the left side. And then up and down. I will try to keep it same everywhere. Like this. So if you like, you can try dark color as well. This is how it will look. And in the end we can add the shadow. For that, let me duplicate this layer with the border. Go here and paint it into some dark color. We can actually use this dark blue. Then blur it with Gaussian blur. At around 14 or 15%. And move it to the side. Like this. It will also go a little bit down. Let me just lower the opacity to around 60%. And after this final step, our Moody landscape illustration is complete. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. For more tutorials and brush sets, check out my Patreon page. Thank you so much for watching, and see you soon!